I mean, Ilya was watching this man sleep in episode 4. Like there were just things happening that were like, are y'all not seeing this yourselves? Well, Shane was. That's why he left. That's why
That's
Shane
why
was
he
like,
left.
I
He
gotta
said,
go. I
feelings,
gotta go.
real ones.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He said, I was cuddled, fed, and I don't feel well. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Top 5.
Another one.
Another one. This week, we're kind of, I think, veering off the path of how we've normally done our top 5s. Normally, we choose a theme and then we rank them 5 to 1 with our honorable mentions on where, we think certain scenes should land. But this time, we're doing a top 5, but it's a little different, right, Tyra? What are we doing this week?
It is a little different. So this time we are doing an episode where we talk about the beats or the moments that clearly outline Shane and Ilya's trajectory. And we're taking a scene from each episode, minus episode 3, because we have 5 spots. Sorry. We will revisit Kip and Scott at a later time. We will. But this list was really interesting for me, Nicole, because in my mind, I had to go back to my days of creative writing and do a narrative arc for myself and think about these scenes that we picked out and how they would convey to an audience or a person who'd never seen this show. How did Ilya and Shane go from rivals to soulmates, essentially? And so what I really found with our top 5 list is that there are specific emotions attached to each of them that really clearly outlined the arc, which I'm interested to talk about.
Yeah, this was a fun list to make because we talked about this when we were thinking of this idea of Tyra and I, we actually met on Tumblr.
We did.
Oh God,
the good old days, y'all. The good old days of Tumblr.
Yeah. This was 15 years ago. We met on Tumblr, and I'm girl, and
I'm only 20.
Yeah, exactly. I'm 22. But the cool thing about Tumblr is that you used to be exposed to couples, and I remember I used to ship couples, and I had never watched the show, and so we had that thought in mind, if someone had never seen this show, but they were just going to ask for the beats of what makes this couple so special. What are the scenes from each of the episodes that would make that? And so it was really fun. Some of them were harder than others. I think when we were putting this list together, I think episode 4 was probably the hardest, but
it was. I think episode 4 got hard because it's broad and we can
There's so much going on.
Do a super deep dive in what we've chosen for that spot. But yeah, this really is like a little Tumblr. We're doing a little Tumblr gift set for you guys.
Oh
my gosh,
Tumblr gift set! I love it.
So Nicole, starting off at our number 5 spot, what do we have?
All right, so the scene that we chose from episode 1 to represent Shane and Ilya at the very beginning is the gym scene in LA. Right after the draft. And I think, when I was rewatching this scene, the takeaway that I had where I was like, if I were to try to explain this to someone with no knowledge, is that the entire Shane and Ilya dynamic is in this scene. You see the rivalry, you see them being equals, you see the attraction, you see the banter, you see, Ilya kind of pushing Shane in ways to, get a vibe or see where he stands with things. And you just kind of first see the sparks, right? Of the sexual tension and the nature of who they are. And also it's if that's your first introduction to who Shane and Ilya are, you do also get a sense of who Shane and Ilya are separately, because the scene starts with Shane and he is alone in the gym. He has his headphones on. You can tell he's focused and disciplined and controlled. And the gym feels like some kind of routine or safe space. And you get a sense that like he takes hockey and like this very seriously. And then Ilya comes in. He's opposite. He has no headphones on.
Yeah.
He seems more just like go with the flow energy. He's kind of looking over at Shane. And yeah, it just felt like it set up their dynamic really
Mm-hmm.
well, and it creates a kind of curiosity.
It does. That's the word I wrote down was curiosity and also recognition.
Mm,
Because it goes even further than just curiosity. They recognize something within each other.
yeah.
It's something above and beyond just being like two closeted hockey players, right? Especially when they're having
Mhm.
that little flirting sitting across from each other. Um,
Yeah.
and the gym, like you said, it gives us the first glimpse of what their dynamic will eventually be because you see the rival, you see the competitiveness between them, you see the teasing, you see the banter, and those are all through lines that you see as you see their relationship grow in Heated Rivalry and then later in Long Game. Those are kind of the hallmarks of who they are to each other. But it's that initial attraction that they have that is
Mhm.
more than just mere attraction, right? It is I see you. I see a part of you that's more than just, a base level of lust. I see all of these things that you were hiding, even from yourself. And
Mhm.
that's what that really outlined for me. And how I put down, what did I write? I wrote, this is the start of their evolution, the attraction. And then when we get to
Mm.
the next one, it'll grow into something else. And like these beats are just
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
so beautiful how Jacob like outlined these beats because it is
Yeah.
pleasing to see the like timeline of their relationship and how it feels earned. Even though it was like a 10-year process, every single beat that they hit feels
Oh,
earned. It
yeah.
feels like, you know,
Yeah.
it was meant to be this way.
Yeah. I agree. And this scene really set that out well. I think also the inevitability of them because
Mhm.
they ended up in the gym. We still don't really know why, but it's
Yeah.
very like a metaphor of how they always just find each other like
Yeah. Yeah.
throughout the years. And I felt like this gym scene set that up really well. Um, and then the other thing I noticed, obviously, one's wearing black, one's wearing white, and it's just like
Mhm.
they being complementary, but then also opposites and like alluding to their rivals. And then um the like scene where they go and sit down
Yeah.
after they're
Yeah.
done working out or whatever. I just noted that the body language is so interesting because it's like it shows a lot about at the beginning, like the tension, because it's like Shane's kind of closed off, like he's kind of sitting like this and like on
And
one side,
Ilya.
and then Ilya is spread open, rubbing his thighs,
It's a
like
sign pointing right there.
look at my crotch, like I am like like giving you hands when you're taking my water bottle. Like it shows you their dynamics. Even when Ilya says
Yes.
more, like mouths more, and then Shane immediately takes more water. Like it just
I would
sets
never
up.
be over that.
Oh,
I would never be
and
over that.
shout out to Connor's story for adding that in. By the way, shout out to
I would
Connor
never be over
because
that.
such a good add in to show their dynamic as the relationship continues to evolve.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, even, Ilya coming in and he has a whole gym to choose from. He's like, I'm gonna sit right beside Shane.
Mhm. That's that
Feel the same.
competitiveness too. That's
I
that
know.
competitiveness that like fuels the attraction. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because it's like in that moment before they understand what they like eventually what we know they will become to each other, there's a recognition that this isn't just a mere like flirtation or hookup. There's from the very beginning
Mm-hmm.
something deeper that's going on. Um and I what I love about it too is that they just instantly seem to like each other. I'm sure they both have this preconceived
Yes.
notion of who each other are, that, the world at large has told them that they are, or that, they've gotten their own perspective. But they get, across from each other. And when you're sitting across from someone and just like feeling in them out and feeling their energy, and it's just like, oh yeah, I just like who you are. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
something that I'm getting from you that I understand and I recognize, even if
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the extent of what that recognition will become, which, oh, I love that.
It's
I love
so
it so
good.
much.
And you kind of got to see behind the curtain of Ilya a little bit too, because when he's
Mm-hmm.
asking about Boston and Montreal, it's like, oh yeah, you're remembering this is a kid who just moved to a new country and doesn't speak
Yeah.
the language fully and is just trying to figure it out. And like, these are just young boys at this point, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that are
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
um, probably able to finally have certain conversations like what we saw here that they can't have with anybody else. Like
Yes.
talking
Yeah.
about going 1 and 2 in the draft and like
Yeah.
going to these franchises and like you see the connection there. Like if I didn't know the show,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, well, clearly they are connecting on like a level that only they can do
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with each
And,
other.
and it feels like there's a safety like that Ilya feels too. Just
Yes.
getting to be
Yes.
himself, getting to be playful, getting to be flirtatious.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know, had
Mm-hmm.
that been someone else, there, another hockey player, that would have been the case for him. But like he sees or feels that Shane is a safe space to do that with, you know.
I know, and it's just
I,
so oh, it's so sweet, and I just love that that one scene could just be a gym scene on the surface, but it just does
mm-hmm.
so much, and like I love when the camera became Shane's eyes and it went from Ilya's face
Mm-hmm.
down, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like that just
Same
shows you
Shane,
in a
same.
quiet way that like okay, Shane is attracted to him or is something's going on. So it's just like I think the scene does a lot versus maybe any other scene in episode 1 to really show
I
like
agree.
these aren't just hockey rivals. They're
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. This is the
feeling
start of
each
their
other a
love
little bit.
story. This is the start of the
Yeah,
love story, right? And you can, like,
I
if you're
know.
outside viewer, not knowing what's going to happen, you're just watching these two people, to be like, I sense the sexual attraction. I sense,
Oh,
this underlying tension, but I
yes.
don't know if it'll be more than that. I'm like, it feels like they like each other, but will it be more than that? And so it's
Will
a
they
great
act
starting
on
off
it?
point. Will they act on it? Yes. Even more importantly, will they act on it? It's a great starting off point to see where they will go as the story continues. That's what I love about it.
I love
It
that
does do a
scene
lot
a
of heavy
lot.
lifting. And
No, it does when you think
we've
about
gotten
it.
away from talking about it in the
We
fandom,
have. We
I
don't
feel
talk
like.
about it like that, but
No.
Jacob did such a good job to set up that dynamic visually, and then obviously with the dialogue and then the acting. It just like I could see why back. I mean, when they first were like teasing the show, they released that scene because it does kind of tell
Mm-hmm.
like the story of what we're gonna see for Shane and
It
Ilya.
does.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Stay tuned.
stay tuned. But I don't think you're gonna find another. You can write in the comments if you have a better scene from episode 1, but I
I
don't
don't think you're gonna find it.
know.
I don't think you're fine. Was it what point were you locked in when you were watching episode 1? What point where
Yes.
you were just like, yeah, this I'm set for the
This is
duration of
it.
the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, again, what scene would you show someone in episode 1 to be like, this is why you should watch this show? I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it'd be that one.
100%. First of all, that mirror shot
Like,
alone
oh,
with them, the
iconic.
visual parallel of that.
And
What are we
then
talking about?
Ilya saying we'll be seeing each other a lot. And it's like, oh, y'all sure will. And we'll be right there. Like,
Listen,
it's
like
just
a
so
little
good.
voyeur. It's amazing.
It's so
It's
good.
amazing.
Okay. So now let's move on to episode 2. We have our gym scene.
We
We've
do.
set up the dynamic.
Yep.
Tyra, what scene are we choosing from episode 2 to continue to tell Ilya and Shane's story?
Yeah, so we set up the dynamic, their recognition of each other. They see something in each other. So when we get to episode 2, we have the first penetrative sex scene. And this is when, Nicole, I feel like their relationship goes beyond just attraction and desire and just experimentation to true intimacy. Um,
Mhm.
which is it doesn't just show the true intimacy, but it also shows the cracks within that intimacy, and how fragile both of them are for very different reasons. Um, and you really start to see their physical connection carry the weight of their relationship, especially
Mhm.
since we see over 10 years the situationship evolve. And until this point, like, the sex can be explained away as just like, this is curiosity. They're this is not anything serious. But it's when we get to this scene, particularly when we get to the forehead kiss from Shane, that
Yeah.
neither one of them can pretend this is just like a one night stand, or like, I don't know,
Mhm.
at this point we were at like a 2 or 3 night stand. Um,
Mhm.
we can't pretend that this is casual anymore. This is something much deeper than that. And I think it's hard for them to come to terms with how they got there.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened to them. It's like they weren't even willing participants. It just kind of, these feelings just sort of were stirring inside of them, and they were powerless to do anything about it. Um, and yeah, it's interesting because, hold on, y'all, I'm gonna look at my notes because I wrote something. I wrote their emotional intimacy develops before they are capable of naming it.
Mm.
So it does
Yeah.
the like
Period.
heavy lifting of saying the things that they can't verbally say to each other, and
Mhm.
filling that gap in that space from, we were just hookups and this casual thing, to like, I potentially want more with this person.
Yeah.
And the language around that is also, how can that be a possibility?
Mhm.
They don't have the words for that.
Yeah.
It's in
I
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say,
Go
I completely agree. The word that came up for me, similar to you, was intimacy, and that they think they're finally resolving 2 years of sexual tension, but instead they created a new problem. There were feelings.
ahead.
And that's, like,
Oops, I
literally
fell
what
in love.
happened.
Not
My
oops, I fell
bad.
in love.
What I have something to say. So
I'm so sorry.
I think what makes the scene so good, it could have just been, yeah, like, okay, oh, finally they had sex or whatever, like how a lot of shows
Yeah,
do. But again,
yeah.
to your point, and Jacob talks about this, that the sex scenes are very intentional and they always say something about the progression of Shane and Ilya's relationship, or at least where they are. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I noted when watching this again, was how nervous Ilya was, despite, being more experienced than Shane.
Mhm.
Um, the reason why this scene, if I were to, again, not have any knowledge of them, why this would be a big deal is like, Ilya, like, this matters to him. He waited 2 years for this. Like, 2 years, and he really wanted this to go well, and you can see this in the humor he has around, like, joking on Shane about his pillows, and, like, then talking about,
Leave that man alone.
he smoked a cigarette before, so clearly there was some nerves there, and then, there's the bickering about, like, "Yeah, and I need you to stop talking," and so it felt like, wait, they're bickering like an old couple, or like they just felt at ease with each other,
Mhm.
and before they actually started having sex, like in lead up to it, that
Yeah,
would tell me a
yeah.
lot about where Shane and Ilya were from the first time we saw them in the gym, if we were just watching that
Mhm.
scene, to then now. It's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
there's definitely a relationship or a bond that has formed.
Yeah,
uh
you can see how they've learned about each other over the course of those 2 years. Learned
exactly.
about not just, like, physically, but emotionally, and how they
Exactly.
operate, which I think is, like, we always go back to, like, why did Shane finally say yes? And I'm just like, maybe just Ilya, knowing Shane emotionally, knew the words to say or knew the approach to
Mhm.
use to, like, get him to say yes that night. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, it's okay. And, I think, like, the there's still, like, if I were watching this, the reason why I wanted to talk about before the actual sex scene happens is that dynamic of, like, that rivalry and the competitiveness and the banter are still there. Like, that is not
Mhm.
just an on the
Mhm.
ice thing. That is, like, something that is seeped into the very
Yep.
fabric of what Shane and Ilya are, and you can see
Yep.
that even before they're literally about to have sex. Like, it's
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
like, they can't help it. They literally can't help it. It's insane. Like,
It's who
they
they are.
couldn't even but Tyra, they couldn't even decide, like, "You come here. No, you come here. No, you come here." Like, it's just like, they
And
don't
in the
listen.
end, they meet in the middle. Oh, in the end,
Yeah.
they meet in the fucking
Ah,
middle.
exactly.
Oh,
Like, the
they can't
scene that just,
decide.
like, it just shows
Oh,
that part of them so well too. And I just
yes.
love
And
that
that's their
Jacob wrote that in.
communication. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's their communication. And then, I mean, that's a great point that you made because you see that over their text messages. Like, because part of their
Yeah.
communication is the teasing back and forth. Like, you're so boring. You're an
Mm-hmm.
asshole. Like, this teasing that they have. And you
It's
see
their
that in
love
Ilya's text messages.
language.
It's their love language. It is. It's how
They
they
love it.
communicate. So it's that mixed in with the physicality of this sexual attraction that they have to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you get this storm, this like emotional storm, but they don't have words for that third thing. They don't
Yeah.
have a language, a communicative language for that thing.
It's like you see
Which helps.
how perfectly they match each other, you know? Because even at
Mm-hmm.
the very beginning, where it's like their literal whole scene in the staircase is like, yeah, well, I beat your ass, and then they're running up the steps and like competitively
Oh,
trying to see who gets. It's like the literal rivalry is like always there. It's just
always
so
there.
good. It's
It's
so
it's
good.
it's always there. And I'm just like, you would think that if they spent more time just like talking to each other a little bit more outside of their sexual attraction, that they could get to that end sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just
Wait,
it's the fear of that like other thing. It's the fear of that like emotional connection that they have and like this love that they have for each other. And also like all of the things that come with it as well.
and at this point, you know, they're still like young,
Young,
and I
super
don't
young.
think they have their frontal lobe has not developed yet. I
Mhm.
don't think they have an understanding of how unique and special of a connection they have with each other. You know,
Mhm.
we do watching it. It's
Mhm.
like, y'all are seeing this. Y'all
You're
are
in
you.
love.
Like,
You're in love.
like this is rare. The way that y'all
Yeah.
meet each other intellectually, physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, what is this? Like, y'all are
Mhm.
insane. The
Yeah.
other thing I would note if I watched this for the first time, or this is the only context I had from this episode, is like how
Mhm.
seriously they took their first time. First, the consent
Yes.
from Ilya.
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
still want?
Consent
Yeah, I
king.
still want.
Consent king.
Consent king,
Mhm.
we love you.
Yep.
And then you see the fire. That was the fireplace was set. So like Shane is setting a mood, and it's just like
Yeah.
the lights are on. So it's like
Mhm.
they're physically wanting to be present and like connected. Like it just
Mhm.
was like such an elevated first time sex scene for these two young
Yeah.
people to be doing this. And I
You can
really
see them
love
slowly
that.
falling in love as the sex scene is playing out.
Yes,
And
it is such
mhm.
it is. And
Yeah.
also just like I loved that, like, I mean, watching it, I can just tell, um, that there was, like, care, like, obviously from Ilya's
Mhm.
end, but in general, it just felt like, sometimes I feel like when I watch, when I've seen, like, first times for couples or whatever,
Mhm.
it's, like, almost too well montaged or, like,
Yes.
just, like, you know,
Too
showing, like, it just
choreographed, too like
feels
it doesn't feel
like
natural. Yeah.
I like that you know, you saw them, like, change positions, or you saw him
Mhm.
checking in, or, like,
Mhm.
it wasn't just, like, um there was, like, a hint of just, like, you could tell this was their first time, like, they're
Yeah.
learning each other in a way, I guess,
Exactly.
that
No,
I
yeah.
just really liked. And then the lighting, you know, I know the lighting is your girl,
Oh
but
my god, the
it
lighting is
added
my
a
girl.
it
Oh my god.
is, it
That blue light. They look so good.
it is.
And I think and like the importance of this scene too was just like if you go from where they have their last hookup at the All-Star game and then you get that 2-year hiatus, you would never know the impact of their emotional connection because all of that other stuff
Mhm,
feels very surface. You kind of
mhm,
need this to explain to you that we have moved on from the
yep,
flirtation and the like teasing, the sexual tension of the gym scene to now we are in something deeper. Like,
mhm, mhm.
they're falling in love without even being able to
Oh,
really name it.
they had no
Like
idea. They had no
they have no
idea,
idea.
but we
They
did.
had no clue. We did. And just
Because here's the thing, when Ilya, I know we all talk about the part at the end because I love it. I love it that it gets
Yeah.
right back to the Shane and Ilya where the first thing Shane says is like, now the bed's messy. And Ilya's like, what? Shut up.
Shut up.
I'm going to go take a shower. And then he gives him the most romantic kiss. And then he comes back and lays on his chest. And to me, I find it very romantic. I don't know if people think about it like this, but I find it very romantic that Ilya looks at him and it says, was this worth the
Was
wait?
it worth a wait? Yeah.
And then somehow he got up in arms when Shane romantically responded back. And I'm like, you just like, you set this all up. Like,
because what you're really saying was all worth the wait. Like, we all heard that. We saw your
worth the wait.
Were we worth the wait for you? Did I live up to your
Correct.
expectations that I so want to? And when Shane
wanted
kisses
this to
you,
be perfect.
I wanted this to be perfect. And when Shane kissed him on his forehead to let him know that he did, you freaked the fuck out. And skedaddle.
He gives him the sweetest kiss on the lips and then the forehead. God. Oh, it is
the forehead. It's so beautiful. It's so the softness that Hudson showed in that moment.
Oh,
I'm
obsessed.
And you know what? And you know what? Like this is Shane being open as he can be. Like for someone who does not feel comfortable in that space when control is taken away from him, and he gave full control to Ilya in that moment, which is a signifier of his feelings and what Ilya meant to him. And that kiss was just like so monumental. So I guess we won't talk about it, but it just makes it so heartbreaking what happens after, because he was so open in that moment. He was so giving in that moment. He was so hopeful for what this could be.
And not only that, but he basically like I get why he did that, because it's like if a person you're attracted to or you've had a sexual encounter with for 2 years is trying to get you to do something, and then you finally do it, and it was the best probably sex you've had. Like, of course you're like, I want this person to know how worth it this was, how much this meant to me. And so that's what, to me, that kiss on the forehead meant to Shane. Like, he felt like Ilya needed that. And I think Ilya on some level did, but then he was like, wait, I need this too much. Like, I can't do this. What is happening?
There it is. I needed too much. Too much, too good. It was too much, too good.
But again, this scene gives you all of that. So again, if this were only the second Shane and Ilya scene I've seen and this is the one from episode 2, to me, this would, because it starts with their relationship and shows their dynamic. Then you see the intimacy and like the level of like what their relationship could be. And then after Ilya decides to leave, it goes back to like the banter in the stairway again. And, you know.
Back to comfortable neutral. Back to comfortable neutral. Back to the gym scene. When we first met, which is interesting.
It's just the best. Good. And then you leave with the kiss, and it's like, oh,
we bringing softness back again. Right, we're bringing sweetness back again.
This is supposed to be casual. That's cute.
Ilya, you make me sick. I'm so mad at you.
Ilya,
he's a complicated man.
He made up for it, but woo, child.
Put the boy through it.
Great scene. Again, if you have a better episode 2 scene to tell Shane and Ilya's story, would love to hear it, but don't think you do.
And don't. So, Nicole, what do we have as our scene from episode 4?
So, episode 4, we didn't cheat, but we just kind of.
We're talking about a character. Listen, we can reframe it as characters and scenes if that makes people more comfortable.
No,
but
it's our. It doesn't matter. We made up our rules. This is a made up thing, so we're going to make this up. But our episode 4 scene that we think tells the best story of where Shane and Ilya are is, of course, the introduction of our girl Rose. Right. I said, if I were to go from their first penetrative sex scene to then episode 4, this introduction would let me know, one, it does a good job of telling me who Shane and Ilya are in the absence of one another. But then also that like Shane is trying to move forward while Ilya's reaction shows just how much the private relationship he had with Shane meant to him. And so it tells you a lot about, without them being together, the feelings that obviously had grown since we
Right.
last saw them in episode 2, and
Right.
then also, that they maybe never got together the way that maybe that scene would have told you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so they're on the outs, and you kind of see the juxtaposition I said of like Shane is discovering the possibility of something new while Ilya is experiencing the loss of something he had. And so it's interesting because you also get to see another side of Shane, I guess, in a
Mhm.
way through Rose. Like with Rose, like he's Shane and
Yeah.
just Shane, not Hollander in the ways in which we've seen him be on the ice or with Ilya in a way.
Mhm.
And so you see him, he's kind of like nervous and giddy and like funny and kind of completely engrossed in her in a way. And I think seeing that is important because you can kind of then look at how he's with Ilya. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and while it's amazing he found this connection with Rose, right? Like we love Rose as a character and obviously
Mhm.
the purpose she serves in the story, but also shows you just like how deep his feelings
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Ilya are that he's trying to ignore in a
Yeah,
way.
but I mean, because his connection to Rose came after a catastrophe where
Yeah.
he couldn't contend with the weight of his feelings for Ilya, and also with the weight of those feelings, the expectation of what his life should be. Um,
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
this MLH Cup winner and hockey player, and Rose does a couple of things. Like Rose, allows Shane to, especially during his coming out scene, allows Shane to identify that this life that he thought he wants is not the life that is innate to him, is not who he is.
Mm.
And Ilya is the person that he truly wants. It
Yeah.
also, for Ilya's eyes, allows Ilya to like contend with his real feelings of the losing Shane potentially forever, and what does that mean, and how do I live with that, because Rose is a
Yeah.
very real obstacle in both of their plans. I put for Shane, Rose helps Shane separate the question of who he thinks he should want from the question of who he actually loves, and that his
Mm.
relationship with Rose becomes part of him coming to terms with his sexuality and admitting to himself and admitting to the world, because it's someone outside of him. It's Rose, that I've had this relationship with Ilya and this is the person that I want, and no longer wanting to run away from that like he did after Tuna Meltdown. Um
Yeah.
and and the importance of Rose is that like Shane could potentially, he would still, I feel like, at some point come to terms with his sexuality and who he is. I just don't know what the timeline would be for that. I think Rose
Yeah.
is a very real world obstacle for both of them, that they have to contend with how their relationship could potentially end and if they are willing to live without each other. And I think we very much get that they aren't when we get to Tampa in episode 5. But Rose is necessary on so many levels, and also just like a support for Shane. I think that support was needed because everything that's going on with Shane is so
No.
internal. He does not have that outlet. Like Ilya is not forthcoming with Svetlana, but Svetlana knows and she's there, and she is someone that he
I mean, they're childhood
can
friends.
talk to. Yeah, she's someone he can talk to, and like even if he's not saying the thing that they both know to be true, he can still like talk to her. And but Shane doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Everything is completely internal with him.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, I think I think Rose may be the most pivotal part of their relationship when we look at season 1
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
it woke them up essentially, right? It woke
Yeah.
Ilya up to his feelings. So in this
Mhm.
Rose sequence, you're seeing him, they're like in the locker room or they're in the gym and they're like, look at Shane, look who he's dating, look who he bagged, whatever, like
Crash
locker room talk.
out.
Crush of the century. You see him and And first of all, Connor played it perfectly,
He
but Crash Out of the
did.
Center, he's just so hurt. He looks so heartbroken. You see him, and then all of a sudden, I think so. When someone mentioned this on, it might have been
I
who's
know.
that psychiatrist, Dr. Diana or something on
Yes, when she talked about the
TikTok.
scrolling.
Yes, and she's like, we're seeing all of these rose clip and paparazzi shots from what Ilya's
Yeah.
looking at, and it like
Yes,
shout out to her because that was such a good insight. But
it was.
so then you see him crashing out in real time. You see him stubbing his OS to my toe, and it's just like, okay, so if I were to again, this is the thing I'm following up on from the sex scene. It's like, okay, wait, so this guy is really hurt because he's really into Shane and in love with
Yeah.
Shane. And then obviously Rose woke Shane up to what it is that he really wanted and also pushing him to pursue that and to be
Yeah.
fully who he is and acknowledge, right,
Yeah.
that
And to be
he
okay with who he
is
is
gay.
and that, like she
Exactly.
said, it's not a problem. It's not
Yeah.
something that she
You're
needs to
not
fix.
something to be fixed. You do
You're
not need
not
to be
something that
fixed.
you do not need, and he doesn't because he's Shane Hollinger. Um,
Yeah. And so I just think she as a character, I don't know if Shane and Ilya would have ever gotten together as quick and not even quickly. I mean, this was a decade. But I don't even know if it would have happened when it did if it were not
mm-hmm.
for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and all
I
of
mean, because
that mostly
they have
happened in
to,
episode 4.
yeah, they have to. Oh my God, so much happened in episode 4. That's crazy when
Episode
you break
4,
it down
that's
and
why
think
when
about
we
it.
were looking at this
That's
list, we were like,
insane.
should we do Tuna Melt? No, but then we need to show that, like, no, it has to be Rose because it was just like, we went back and forth
We
on a
did, yeah,
few of
yeah.
these
It's
scenes.
crazy what happened, and also, I mean, it is like a rude awakening for Shane to be in this like heteronormative coupling with Rose, and to like be like, this could be my life, and this is not the life that I want. This is not
Deep
um
down, no,
this is not clothes that I can wear for the rest of my life. Um, because that would slowly
no.
kill him. It would slowly kill him to like deny himself who he is and who he wants. And it's interesting thinking like how long had Rose not like had that conversation with him at the dinner table? How long would he have been in this charade with her? Like how
I
long would they have
know,
been playing this game of coupling? And
and
where
and
Ilya's
and I
further and further away from him.
and I do think Jacob did a really good job of showing the right before the game because obviously we've if you watch the show, if Shane's texting in that locker room, it's usually to Ilya. And so during
Mm-hmm.
this one moment it's to Rose, but then you see him scroll down to see
Yeah.
Lily. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, clearly they needed to show that to show it. But like Shane Hollander Ilya is still top of mind. Like he misses Ilya. He wants to be with Ilya. And that whole sequence of them playing and like Ilya ignoring him. And like it
Mm,
was like Rose hurt Ilya to his core. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
and it's just like, I think sometimes it is very funny to watch sometimes, and also just like jealous Ilya, like who doesn't love
Mhm,
that?
mhm.
But gosh, when you really think about that, like if you were to put yourself in Ilya's shoes, it's like devastating. Like
Yeah.
Rose was devastating to this man.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's just like, even to this day for Ilya, I mean, until maybe they talked about it in the cottage, but, like, for Ilya, it's like, "Wait, Shane leaving me was hard enough at my house,
Mhm,
but then he
mhm.
left me and then got in the most serious relationship he could possibly get in, that
With
he's ever
someone
gotten in with, like,
a movie
the
star.
the it
The
girl,
it
like,
girl. The it
and
girl.
and it's
Child,
just like, oh, I
she
felt for Ilya so
yeah,
much in episode
yeah.
4.
And that's why, like, Ilya never wanted to feel that feeling again. Like, when we get to the cottage, like, I never wanna feel that again,
He
ever.
never wanna feel like, and even when we get to Tampa, he's like, "I need to figure
Yeah,
out if this is still a possibility." Like,
yeah.
I'm not wasting any more time on this.
Mhm, mhm,
And so, yeah, it's just like without the context of Rose, I think you're missing a huge piece of Shane and Ilya's story that would
mhm.
we don't get episode 5 and 6 Shane and Ilya without her. So,
No, no, no. Yo. I mean, I like to be optimistic and think they find their way to each other, but is it another decade? Another 10
it
years? Is it really
think
when
they
they
would have
retire
coasted.
and they're done? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really think they would have coasted for a long time. I think there just would have been a series of hookups and feelings kept growing and none of
Mhm.
them really wanting to face the reality of that. You can't say for sure, but they seemed I mean, Ilya was watching this man sleep in episode 4. Like there were just things happening that were like, "Are y'all not seeing this yourselves?" Well, Shane was. That's why he left. That's why
That's
Shane
why
was
he
like,
left.
"I
He
gotta
said,
go. I
"Feelings,
gotta go."
real ones."
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
He said, "I was cuddled, fed, and I don't feel well."
I cuddled, fed, talked to. Like we
Talk.
watched we watched him game. We had like a good time.
He said my name for the first time. Like,
Oh
what
my
is
gosh.
happening?
He said,
So,
"Sweetheart."
oh, well,
Well, that was me being shady.
don't get me started.
I won't. I won't. Apologies.
Anyway, the one thing I
Oh.
wanted to add about Rose, because again, I really like her. A couple of
Mhm.
things is that I love when she asks him, "Tell me about 8-year-old Shane." Because it's like,
Mhm.
I think that's what attracted Shane so much to her at first. Like, who's ever been interested in Shane? Like, not probably not
Mhm.
since he was like 12 years old, you know? It's like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
asking him about 8-year olds, and he was like, "Well, of course I was on the ice," and just shows like his deep love for hockey. And he was like, "I was probably happy because it was before hockey got really serious for
Real.
me." And
Yeah.
it was just like, wow, this might be the first real conversation Shane has had with anyone in a really long time. And
Yeah.
I do love that he was able to find her. Like, and I'm
Mhm.
glad that
Mhm.
she stuck around after
Mhm.
everything and it wasn't just like a plot device. Like, I love their
Yeah.
friendship. I love the role she plays in his life. And I
Mm.
really do think she was needed for them as a couple, but for Shane, like
Yeah.
priceless. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
I hope we see her in season 2 because, like, especially with you talking
same.
about her, really asking about, 8-year-old Shane, but like these moments before he became a superstar when he was still, I'm sure, just as happy or maybe even more so being a child, like playing a game that he loved. Um,
Mhm.
and to your point, no
Mhm.
one really wanting to know that version of him. And that
Mm-mm.
version of him was still, you know, gay and probably still having like these thoughts and feelings that were confusing to him and he didn't understand them or himself. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, it's interesting. I
Mhm.
want more of like delving into backstories. I want more of
I
that.
do too. And you think about it as a foil to his relationship with Ilya, right? Where he's like, we don't talk about anything barely. And
Yeah,
then so it's like he's looking at Rose and it's like, wait, this is what this is supposed to be, or like this
yeah,
is what I want. Like really
yeah.
trying to corner his attraction and his obviously like feelings and love for Ilya away. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, I think it showed Shane that like these things that you feel like you have to be
Yeah,
are just like that's not what
they're
you do have
secondary.
to be. And
Y-
yeah, and like that's not who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
I
her. Anyway,
I do too. I do too. We're gonna move
y'all
on.
may have other arguments for episode 4 because episode 4 is a lot. So I will listen because there are a couple scenes that like were almost the scene that we chose. So
There are, but I'm just like Rose is huge.
no,
Rose is the catalyst for a lot of the fallout of episode 4.
Rose is that girl. I mean, the episode was named after her. So
Case in point.
she's that girl.
There we
Um,
go.
okay, Tyra. So now we're on episode 5. If I don't know who Shane and Ilya are, what scene are you showing me to show where we are with them in this episode?
I'm showing you that Tampa Bay hotel scene, Nicole's favorite
Yeah,
Holiday Inn
you are.
hotel.
Ah,
Best
yeah, you
Western.
are.
Best Western.
Hey, they
That
got
moment
these
where we got them rocking back and forth on a bed.
they
That
got
good
these
moment.
millionaires in the Holiday Inn in East Tampa.
The hotel motel Holiday Inn, period. Um, but this scene is so important because like this is the culmination where like years of implication give way to honesty. Like Shane and Ilya are finally honest about their feelings for each other in
Mm,
a way that I feel like cements that um not just they're embarking on a relationship, a real relationship, but that these are stakes that are high. Like, once we say these words and once we have this honesty, we're not separating from each other. I feel like
Mhm.
this in that hotel room was really a catalyst. It was where you finally get to see Ilya be open and vulnerable with someone outside of Svetlana, who is like family to him. And
Yeah.
you see
Yeah.
Shane getting to be open and bare him true self, like we just talked about with the Rose. He finally gets to do that with Ilya, someone who he loves, but also wants to be understood by and wants to understand. Um,
Mhm.
and so, like, this is where the relationship changes from, I feel like, something that, like, when we are talking about from episode 1 and 2, like, something that just happened to them, like, something this is they're consciously choosing. They're no
Mm.
longer bystanders in their story anymore. They finally get a
Mhm.
say in who they want to be and how they get to navigate that relationship. And
Mhm.
it's it's an interesting thing when you think about it, as we're like doing this list, to like think about number 1 and how we go from like this early recognition and flirting and banter to this where, you're two people who like deeply know each other and are deeply connected to each other. Just from that, like, little moment in a gym to, like, here, we are wrapped up
Mm.
in each other's arms in Tampa, like, rocking back and forth. Like, how beautiful of a story that is. I mean, it
I
did
just
take
got
10 years.
emotional
It
thinking
di
about
it did
that.
it did take 10 years, but we got here, and, like, how rewarding and beautiful that is. And so I wrote about Shane's growth, or like Shane's growth through the Rose storyline really gave him the courage to be the one to like make this happen. Be the one to ask to meet Ilya in his hotel room. Be the one to tell him that I like you. Like, these are real feelings I feel, and I
Mhm.
know you feel them too. And even if you're
Mhm.
scared to admit it, I'm gonna admit it for the both of us. Um, and he does. Oh
Mhm.
my god, and he does. He admits it for the both of them, and that, like, allows Ilya to be vulnerable when I feel like he hasn't been able to be vulnerable in years, and so long, um, and to break in a way that, he could never have imagined he would ever do in episode 1 in that gym scene. He could never imagine that he would be there with Shane, falling apart in his arms, like, being with a person that he just deeply admires and deeply loves. Uh, okay. This is a lot. Um,
Oh,
yeah, Nicole, I don't it's
I
this is
forgot.
so
I'm
sad.
sitting here, I'm listening to you like I'm a podcast, like I'm watching
This is this is so
because I literally got almost choked up thinking about I know this is our countdown and this is what we did, but now I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like, if I were to see them in that gym scene where they're just so earnest and young and
Mhm.
have no clue the journey
No
they're about to
idea.
go on together.
Mm.
Like, they have
Yeah.
they grew up to I don't know why I'm getting I
They
know this
grew
about them, but they grew up together,
they
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 have
did.
if they were to I think what makes her story I mean, there's so many things, but, if they were when you're in that hotel room and you're watching that
Mhm.
scene, and you just think about all of the memories and the moments
Yes.
that were few and far
Yes.
between, and yet
Mm.
they still, if they were to ask, they probably had the biggest impact on each other over that
Yes.
decade period than anyone
Yes.
else.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just that's what makes that hotel room scene so monumental and so emotional because
Mhm.
here's someone that I get on occasions, but
Yes.
they
Yeah.
have meant the world to me so much that I can be this is the most vulnerable either of them have been with anyone
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah.
Shane opening up and coming out to Ilya and say, I mean, you know, like telling him I'm gay, and then
Yeah.
also saying like, I think I like you a little bit too much, and this felt like
Mhm.
more. And then Ilya finally having to like talk about his family and like we can't be together because of Russia, and then the crying, and it's just like all of
Mm.
those little moments added up
Yes.
to this.
To
Like
this
this it
huge
ugh,
moment where they were choosing each other. And it's interesting because I feel like leading up to this, the like sort of cloak of indifference or, not pretending to care, pretending this is just casual was something that was protective and it's something that felt right. But as you get closer and closer to these feelings, what becomes uncomfortable now is denying that I feel this way. That no
mhm,
longer that makes your skin crawl to like pretend. Like Shane says, I can't
yeah.
pretend I don't like anymore. It makes your skin crawl to pretend that this is not how you feel about this person.
Uh, and like, gosh, this scene, it's like we've talked about this scene so many times, so every time we talk about it differently, it just hits. It's
It
just like
does.
a
It
gut
does.
punch. But yeah, I said the reason why this scene is important is like they stop being two people with feelings they won't acknowledge and become two people who know what they feel but have an understanding of why loving each other is so difficult. Because like
Mm.
Ilya couldn't he
Mm.
couldn't say it. Like it was just like he was just trying to like Hollander like stop talking. Like he's just like Shane like no, I
Yeah.
can't. He can't say I like you back. He can't say I had feelings. Like the most he gave us was when Shane said it was nice and he said it was.
What?
And it's like I think it's like the point where I felt like this was like the first scene we got where it felt like, wow, wait, I'm looking at a mature version of Shane and Ilya, you know?
Yes.
And it's just
Yes.
like,
Yes.
and I think that's why it hit so hard is like they're talking about mature themes and like you see Ilya, like, when he's crying, it's like he's
Mm.
crying about so many different things. He's crying because he's lost his mom. He's crying because he's about to
Yeah.
lose his father and has mentally already. He doesn't have family or support in Russia, but Russia is the one thing that's keeping him from the love of his life. He cannot be with this person beside him who is admitting he has feelings, and that's probably the one thing Ilya would want and has
Mhm.
wondered for years, and it's
Mhm.
impossible. And so this
Mhm.
scene and that conversation just brings out all of that. It just sums
Yes.
up their relationship so much up
Yes.
until this point that's just like, you're just so
Yes.
heartbroken. And you also just have this feeling of like, I'm so glad that they're finally naming and saying the thing
Yes. Yes.
that they
And that
haven't.
they're both being honest that this is worth it. Out of all the
Yes.
fear and like all of the other stuff, like you just ran a gamut of like everything that Ilya is going through, but like still, this is all worth it. Like to be with Shane is worth it. And it's just
I
that moment to like
know.
really choose to build something with each other, whatever it looks like. Even if it doesn't look perfect, whatever it looks like, I'm choosing you.
Even if we're just doing the same thing, right? Like
Even if we're just doing the same thing.
neither of them could say like we have to break this off or like we can't do this.
Yes.
Like that was just like
Yes.
not an option on the table for them.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they finally reconnected. They finally found each other again.
They
Like
finally found each other.
ugh,
Ooh,
I
and
literally
that hits different when you think about it, that Rose was that intermission. Like, that they
mhm,
really were lost to each other and did have to find each other again. They,
they
like,
had to find
really
each
do
other
follow so many
again.
tropes. Like, so many of the
And
best
that's
romantic
why
tropes. Oh,
they have every single trope. I just like I
they
And
really
that's
do.
why they hit so hard. It's like,
They really
depending on
do.
what stage of their relationship you're in, you're at a new trope. Like, every episode is almost a new trope of Shane and
It
Ilya,
is.
almost,
It
when you think
is.
about
It
it.
is. It
And
is.
I
Like,
just love
reconnecting again. Ugh.
oh, oh, I just, like and it also, again, this scene makes you realize, yeah, how much they never talk.
Never.
'Cause it's like Shane's asking about the dad, which
Mhm.
again, shout out to Shane and his like crazy. That will always be epic for me.
It will
And you
always
know
be
what
famous.
I love even more than that is that Ilya answers him seriously. He's like, kind of.
Kind of,
But
yeah.
yeah. It's like,
He really weighed that question. He took it serious.
He did.
Yes, that too, but.
He said that too a little, but, and then Shane's like, cancer? It's like, calm down. Calm down. We're in a moment.
We're in a moment. This is the first time they're verbally able to talk to each other, because everything has been nonverbal. It's just been through physical touch. And they were too afraid to say the words. And
you know what?
they're
Shout
not
out to
anymore.
Shane Hollander in this scene, because he did not let Ilya at the beginning of this scene where he's like, it's simple. We fucking, that's all we do.
Don't let him off the hook.
He never let that man off the hook.
Never.
And Ilya hadn't probably never had that happen. Like, Ilya tried every angle and then eventually was like, yeah. Like, I'm going to break down. The thing I wanted to talk about in this scene too, and why I love it so much. And first off, shout out to Peter, because on that score, I forget, it's like the heartbeat. It's one of the heartbeats.
Yeah.
But when that hit, as they were hugging and kissing, I was a ball. I was a mess watching that. And it's just like, shout out to him.
It was like release. It felt like a release for all of us, for them and us.
And but after they have sex, and then Ilya's just lying there, kind of like this, looking good, looking. Hey, angles. But he was lying there, and I want people to talk about this more, because it's just like a moment of just like, for me, when he says, Shane is getting up and he looks back and he's like, what? Like, laughs, and it's just like, nothing. And it's like, you mean everything? Because
everything.
You could just see the love, and just like, this man was just cradled, rocked, hugged, intimacy, like back with the love of his life, like
truly seen.
Yeah, truly seen as a person, and like probably said the words about his family in Russia for the first time to someone, like, ever. He doesn't want that to go away. Like, you can just see it on his face, where he's like, the last thing I want right now is for Shane to walk out that door. And also, the moment Shane walks out that door, you can just see him do like the nose pinch, and he's like, I'm screwed. Like,
I'm fucked. Yeah. Like, yeah.
And I love that little added moment there, where it's just like, you can just see, as a viewer, if you're watching that, and that's the only scene you saw from episode 5 on Shane and Ilya, you could tell, that was like not going to be the end of their story, and that they had opened a new chapter almost to like where they were intimately, intimacy, and I love how physically, and
that sentiment of Ilya being like, I'm fucked, is like a through line that we see continue.
Because he says it and he says it in the Russian monologue, like, I'm so in love, I don't know what to do with this. And like, you could see that in that moment.
We see it in episode 6 in a moment. Like, it's going to eat down when we get to season 2.
Look at you, Tyra, holding it back. Please.
I know. Listen, growth. Growth.
That's because, you want to know why? Because before we filmed this, shout out if you're watching this and you were on the live stream we did, which we filmed right before this, and it was spoiler heavy. So I think Tyra got everything out. So she ain't got no more spoilers in her.
You know what? I had my defenders in there saying the same thing. This is a 5-year-old book, y'all. But okay, I'm going to make sure it's spoiler-free for y'all who want to be purists. I'm going to try my hardest. Nicole may have to pull out the Tom Holland meme again.
Listen, if Tom Hollander can get away with a decade's worth of spoiling for Spider-Man, we got Spider-Man.
You. $1 billion movie.
We got you. I'll edit it into our like little episode.
Oh my gosh!
Free Dylan Walsh.
Free Dylan Walsh. Get that man out of jail. Get that man out of Cameo jail. It's ridiculous.
No, literally. Y'all should be ashamed. Y'all should be ashamed. That is just a midlife man trying to make his money, and y'all are out here
That's
messing with his
it.
coins.
That's
I don't like that.
it.
I don't like that. I actually don't
Sick of
like
y'all.
that.
Oh, okay, Nicole. What do we have for episode 6 as our scene that wraps up the tale? The story of us, Shane and Ilya.
Well, I
And that
know
wraps
you
up.
love this scene down.
You know I do. I do.
And I mean, we all do, but like Tyra, this is like just her scene.
I love it.
And this is, I mean, oh, it's so good. It's the couch scene between Shane
Mm-hmm.
and Ilya. And let's talk about it because one, oh my God, I don't even know what I said. There's too many notes, but the
I know.
takeaway, the
Same.
reason why,
I said
what did you
same. You
say?
said so many notes. Same.
Oh,
I'm like, girl,
so
I got so
many.
many notes.
And I don't remember what I said, so I will be reading. But for the takeaway, like why we chose a scene, I said Ilya, he calls Shane his problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like we know why he's really saying this. Like, he's saying like I know exactly how difficult loving you makes my life, and I don't ever want a life where I don't love you. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're both, this was the I love you scene before the I love you scene. This was the I
100%.
want a future with you scene before they say this is how we're going to build our future scene. Like this scene did so
Mm-hmm.
much to set up
Yep.
the next scene we saw in the bed. And I just thought it was such a good full circle moment from our first scene in episode 1. Ilya says, we'll be seeing each other a lot. And then this sentiment in this scene in episode 6 is basically like, how do I make sure I never have to stop seeing you? And I
Mm-hmm.
just like love that full circle nature of for Ilya in general. But this scene
It's so
starts,
good.
it's so
You know what?
good, and it starts off really chaotic, but it's
It
so
it
good.
and it's the chaos. It's the chaos because they're such parallels of each other because they mimic the same insecurities. They're just depending because like in this scene, Ilya Shane is like, do you want that problem to go away? Knowing that Ilya can have a far easier life with a woman where, Shane is feeling like he's not enough. And Ilya always feels like he's
Mm-mm.
too much. He's trying to create a plan so they could be together. He's trying to make it easy for
I
Shane to
know.
be in
For
his life or
Shane.
for him to be in Shane's life. Um,
And he
and
won't ask Shane to just be with him. He feels, to
he
your point,
won't.
that's
He
too
won't.
much for him.
It's too much. It's too much. And the beauty of this scene is that I wrote, they're no longer idealizing each other. They know the complications and they choose the whole person. And they both
Yeah.
choose through the insecurities to just be with each other. Even the fear of each of their insecurities to figure out a way
I know.
forward to be together. Um, and I think that's
Mm.
essentially like the beauty of it because it could be just this like sweet relationship devoid of any complications outside of the huge one, which is, them being closeted, but there's
Mm-hmm.
interpersonal things happening within their dynamic, their insecurities, which are, a looming thing that is constant in their relationship. And I love that in that moment where Ilya's just like, I don't ever want that problem to go away. They're both just like moving forward and ignoring all of that and really truly choosing
Mm-hmm.
each other.
Mm-hmm.
Truly choosing each
Mm-hmm.
other in that moment. Um, even though they don't have
Yeah.
a real plan. Even though they don't have a real solid plan. Um,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
which which is terrifying for both of them. Like the I think it's just the like staring down all of this fear and them just being like, I choose you through all of it. And that's what this really truly signifies. It's so beautiful because they're only in we're in day 2 at the cottage, Nicole, which should be like this idyllic, blissful thing where they should be in their honeymoon phase, but they really are trying to figure out these
Ugh.
real world relationship issues and find a way around them so they can actually have the true bliss of knowing that we are together forever.
Well,
This scene is a
and you
vibe.
have to, no, it is. And you have to think about it like, I love Ilya so much, and, like, I think, he's so patient with Shane
Mhm.
because the scene before, he kinda was trying to hint at, like, "Hey, I don't want a Russian passport anymore. I kinda think I wanna move to Canada," and Shane's just like, "That sounds cool, dude." Like, "Yeah, let," and then they're just, like, kicking ball, and, like, Ilya, you know what I mean? He's like,
Trey said, "You
"Oh,
know how to
okay."
get to Boston?
He said,
Now
"Oh,
read the tea
wow,
leaves."
okay." Yeah, yeah, and so it's like, okay, Ilya is like, "Okay, wait, Shane's not getting it," because in Ilya's mind, and rightfully so, this is urgent for me.
Yeah.
My passport is connected to a country that would violently or do something violent to me or harm
Yep.
me
Yep.
if and when they find out I'm not a straight male hockey player. I
Mhm.
can't have that because the only thing I want right now is an opposition to that. I want Shane. And so, you
Mhm.
know, Ilya is like, and that is what makes this couch scene in the beginning of it just so it's like it's like the moment before Shane's over there again just chilling, and Ilya's probably panicking in a way of like, I need to figure out a
Yeah.
plan. And so yeah, the first thing he says is like, I can marry Solana, because it's like, okay, well, I need to do something to, one, show Shane, like, hey, this is like a serious situation and like a problem I'm really trying to solve. And two, I
Mhm.
need you to know why I'm doing this. And it's because of
Yeah.
you. And like,
Yeah.
I want this bond to happen. And so I just like, I love that couch scene set up. It brought back up the conversation to show, one, yeah, Shane, hey, the reason why this is brought up is because I'm trying like to make this work. And Ilya, to
Mhm.
your point, he feels like he does too much. So even when they're having a conversation of like, well, it's like I have this problem, and he never really names Shane. He's talking about Shane as if it's like another
Mhm.
person or
Mhm.
thing, because he
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
can't get there. But it's like, I need him to know that my feelings are real. I need him to know that, like, I
Yes.
am serious about this, and that, like, I don't want a future that does not involve you and I doing exactly what we're doing now forever.
Mhm.
And, I just
That's
thought it was
good.
just like, I just thought it was
Yeah.
very, I
It
appreciated Ilya for, he was incredibly brave in this scene to, like,
he was.
take that step
He was.
forward in that
He
way.
was. 'Cause Ilya is in the same place that Shane was in Tampa, where he had accepted he was gonna name it. Um,
Mhm,
and so
mhm,
now we've moved from acceptance to like, oh, well, now we're moving into acceptance where Ilya's just like, "Oh, I'm fully in. I'm 100%
mhm,
in." I was honest about my feelings, but now I have to be fully accepting of them, whatever comes with it, and accepting whatever comes when
mhm.
I choose you. Um, and that's so, oh my
It's
God, that's so
so
beautiful.
it's so beautiful,
That's
and it's like, and also I know we
mm,
make fun of Shane because he has, like, dagger eyes when Ilya
yeah.
says that, but it's like, I also wanna give props to Shane in this scene because
Mhm.
there is a level of vulnerability and, selflessness that he has where he's just like, "Okay, you could marry someone you actually love that is a
Yes.
woman." And, he's
Yes.
willing to give
Yes.
Ilya up in that way for this to happen. And, like, what, just, like, it tells you so much about Shane's character, and then how much he
Mhm.
loves Ilya and just wants Ilya to feel safe and happy, and
Mhm.
it's like, because first of all, Ilya is doing this in my home. I invited him to, and it's like,
Bringing up another woman, please.
I s and, like,
Talking
marrying,
about
like,
marrying
the end
another
game of
woman.
end game. So, yeah, it was just like, wow, you just, you saw how I appreciate Ilya for pushing them into this moment where they're
Yeah.
finally having to confront these very real feelings. Like, not just like, "I
Mhm.
like you," because 'cause they've already said that in the morning, and,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, "Okay, well, wait, I need to be honest that I don't just like this man, that, like, I can't envision a life without him. And that's a whole different
Exactly.
thing. That's a whole different thing.
That's a whole different thing. And the complication because of their situations expounded. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's magnified to a
Mm-hmm.
degree that Ilya is going to be proactive and be like, I will figure out a plan for us. I mean, it'll be the best plan, but I'm going to figure out
But
a way forward. A
I'm
plan.
gonna figure out something that I feel like
Yes.
could work. And like I
Yes.
I cannot go to bed tonight without having this plan. The one thing I did want to talk about real quick is because the reason why I think this scene is so great, if I were just to watch this is the only cottage scene I have, is it tells you a lot about Ilya's feelings for Shane. And because when he finally asks, like, what is the problem about or whatever. And
Yeah.
I love that, like, okay, one, because Ilya can't be serious for 5 seconds. But I love when he's like talking about, like, if you really look at what he's saying, he's talking about all the things he loves about Shane. Talks about his beautiful freckles. So it's like what he loves about Shane physically. And then he talks about his weak backhand. And he knows Shane has the best backhand in the fucking league. Like, he loves Shane, the rivalry he has with him and him as a hockey player. And then he talks about him being boring. And he's just like, okay, that's what he loves about Shane's personality. And then it's like terrible car. And it's just like the everyday mundane things about Shane. Like it's just like he does so much with that little speech of like, I have this problem. I'm completely and utterly in love with you. That's really what he's saying.
Yes. And how that's echoed and how that's echoed from our from episode 1, the gym scene. This teasing, this ribbing. It is like even back then, I saw you and I knew you.
I saw
even
you.
that back then. And it just there's something like where souls recognize each other and they have it. They have it.
Yes. He couldn't say I loved you directly, but that speech basically said it. Like if I heard that,
listen, his actions have shown
get married now. Oh my God. Like, do you want that problem to go away? I don't ever want that problem to ever go away.
Come on. Please.
Said, like, literally, he's like, I know loving you complicates my entire life, and I still choose it.
And I don't care.
I would choose this problem every day.
Okay? Every single day. I do not care. Let the problems come.
Yeah. I just feel like that scene encompasses a cottage so well. That is what the cottage was for. The cottage was for that to happen.
And all of this while they are touching toes.
Touching toes. Shout out to Ilya wearing Shane's shirt that he grilled in. So you know that shirt don't smell good. And also shout out to Shane for drinking water. There was water on the table. I feel like I haven't seen that man drink non-ginger ale in a few scenes. So appreciate that. We love that growth for a athlete.
And Shane not even drinking like diet ginger ale at that either. He's drinking
he's not drinking ginger ale zero. I said, for this man to be on a microbiotic diet, I think that goes against it, but
what do we know?
Don't get me to lying.
Oh, God.
Anyway, great scene. Great
Amazing.
scene. Oh, I actually want to maybe watch that tonight. Oh, I don't have time.
Yeah.
But I might. Okay, we didn't have honorable mentions because we were only given 5 scenes to show this person that doesn't know Heated Rivalry. And so our 5-scene arc, we had episode 1 with the attraction. We had episode 2 with the intimacy, episode 4, the separation, episode 5, the vulnerability, and episode 6, the commitment. And I just think that
works.
That tells their story.
That tells their story. It tells their story beautifully to the point where you can go back to the episodes and see the echoes and the remnants and see how it evolves and flourishes as we get from 1 to 6. A beautiful narrative arc that Rachel and Jacob have outlined for us.
Oh my God. Can I just say one more thing about our scenes that I love? Episode 1, you have them facing like this by the mirror, kind of like rivals. The same way in our last scene in episode 6, they're like... They're
mirroring each other, yes.
They're mirroring each other.
They mirror each other. From rivals to soulmates. Truly.
And literally. They're always in opposition, but together. That is, I mean, look at that. We literally.
They're always in opposition, but together.
And it's like, I can't believe our episode 1 and 6 did that, but it did.
It did. What smart, like, visual
Yeah,
storytelling. Well, with
it's
smart visual
so
storytelling.
good. It's
That we could
so
pick out
good.
5 scenes from each episode and truly tell the, like, story beats in the
Story
arc.
arc of them to tell the story. Oh,
That's crazy.
it's
Jacob, you are a mastermind.
it's
You are so smart.
so good.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, if y'all have other scenes y'all would have selected from these different episodes, would love to know.
Yes. Please defend your choice, though. Tell us why. Tell us how
Yeah,
it
you have to
differs.
say why.
You gotta
And why
defend it.
and why it's better than what we selected. You
Because I
really
think
do
we
have
did
to
pretty
let us
good.
know. I think we did
See?
too. Because these weren't necessarily their big fivest scenes, but they're the pivotal
Yeah.
to like telling their story, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. You see these in, like, a little reel, and you're like, I think I understand what's happening here. I understand what's happening here.
Or at the very least, they would be like an OTP or yeah, a one true pairing.
Definitely an OTP. I'm
Like I would be like,
reblogging. I'm
I don't
reblogging
know
it.
who they are, but I ship them, you know?
Girl, it would get a reblog real quick.
If I
Finding their
had
ship
never
name.
if I had never seen Heated Rivalry and I saw that episode 5 hotel scene, I would be like, "Oh, they're eating. Who are these people?
Down.
I
Down.
want to watch this." Yeah.
Down. Listen, even that gym
Well,
scene.
that gym scene, I was with
Hooked.
the moment Ilya mouthed more and Shane immediately took a sip, I would be
I was
like,
hooked. I was hooked.
"What's
I was hooked.
this?
I was hooked.
Mhm. What's this? What's this? What is
Mm.
this old married couple in episode 2
Mm-hmm.
bickering before they're about to have sex, you know?" Like, I'm literally like, who are these people? Like, I would be hooked. I'd be hooked,
Soft forehead
period.
kisses and all.
Oh,
Well,
anyway,
that is all from us, you guys. Can't wait to hear your comments. Truly.
I want
Honey, tell
everyone
me.
to know, Tyra said, we're definitely gonna do this episode in under an hour. Y'all gonna see it's gonna be over that.
Oh, we tried. I tried.
I told you. I said we just
You
be
did.
yapping about them. We
You
just
did.
yap. We literally blank out and just start talking about this
We
couple.
do.
I've
We
never
tr-
blacked out like this.
We truly don't ever remember anything we said. We're watching
Oh,
the episode
when
like, this is
I
amazing.
edit the episodes, I'm like, oh, I don't
We
remember telling
said that.
that.
Same.
Child, here we are, still
It's
talking.
happening again.
All
Okay,
right.
on that note, bye. We'll see you next week.